Yeah.
What up, everybody? What's up? What's up? Welcome to another episode of Booze and Reviews. I'm your man, Critique. To my right is Mugu. To his right is Trouble T. Roy.
What up, dog?
And we here to bless you with another review. And this review's pick was Mugu's pick. It is The Usual Suspects.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn it on over to my man so he can bring you on in. What you got, Mugu?
No doubt. So, pick is The Usual Suspects. Great movie. Go through the track. We'll go through the list of the actors. I mean, there's a lot of people that the names are not going to jump out at you, but when you see their face, you already know who they are. So you got Stephen Baldwin, which you probably know his brother.
That was exactly how you were supposed to say that.
You got Gabriel Byrne. Yeah. You got Chaz Palminteri. You got Kevin Pollak. Mm-hmm. You got Pete Polisquate. Mm-hmm. You got Kevin Spacey. Mm-hmm. Benicio del Toro.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And then you got Giancarlo Esposito.
Come on.
So, but this movie, not only are actors, but it's a culmination of how the story was written and how well it went. So basically, this is a story of a scammer scamming everybody. So you get a lot of times when something big happens in a major city such as New York, LA, but in this particular case it's New York, they go around and they grab up all of the felons. So these are people who have already been in jail, they already got raps. So they go and grab these people because they think that more than likely they're going to go back to their life of crime.
They grab the usual suspects.
Exactly. So here we are, we got 5 main people. So we got one guy who's a cripple. His name is Verbal Kint. Then you got the next guy who is Dean Keaton. Then we got the next guy who is Finster. Then we got another guy. His name is McManus. Then you get to Hockney. So all of them have special skills. Mm-hmm. All of them have different specific skills. McManus is the lookout, aim, gun artist. You got Hockney, who is a person who can get all of the main hard tools to do a job. Then you got Verbal Kint, which is a guy who's going to deal with the game plan and how things are done. Then you're going to have Finster, who him and McManus kind of work together. So Finster basically is like the fast-talking guy. And then you got Dean Keaton. Dean Keaton is the guy who's definitely going to come in and be the alpha male and run everything from beginning to the end. So in this particular case, what winds up happening is there's a lot of people who come up dead at a harbor in New York, and they're all Hungarian and from different places. And so what winds up happening is this ship gets cleared out, meaning they get burned out, they get shot. All these people, come up dead. But there's a course of actions that happen up until this point. But what the storyline goes is this being told by one person, which is Verbal Kint. He survived the big move. He survived it. And so he's able to tell the story. And so while he's telling the story, he's one of the #1 scam artists. So by him being the #1 scam artist, he's able to weave and craft a story that happens to work out at the end that he winds up walking away. Now, being a cripple, that's hard to walk away. But if you watch this movie, you will see he's able to walk away scot clean, you know, scot free. You know what I'm saying? So as the story unfolds, you have Verbal Kint, who is a guy who definitely is a person who does game planning. But then you have a person who is Dean Keaton, which is somebody who's trying to get out the game. He's trying to get out the game, but he gets sucked back in because of these jobs and the numbers that you would make from these jobs. So the first job is that they need to take out a jeweler. They know that he carries a lot of money on him and that he's going to have some jewels on him as well. And so they wind up getting to this guy and holding him up. And, I'm sorry, let me stop. The first job is a job that no one is supposed to know about. That the actual police are actually have a taxi service. Their taxi service is based on the amount of money that you pay. And that you're going to help them move around the city legally. You're going to help illegal people move around the city legally with a police escort. And so they wind up sticking that escort up and getting the money from it. But they wind up burning the police car. They wind up getting the money. They wind up getting the package.
A big fuck you from Dean Keaton.
See, exactly. Now, Dean Keaton is an ex-cop that has been kicked off the force because IA has been looking for him and trying to stick him to plenty of charges and everything, but they can't get him. And they wind up kicking him off the force. So he leaves the force, and like he said, I don't care about y'all no more. So guess what? I'm about to pull this big hit that nobody knows about this taxi service, but I do. And we're going to make a hit off of this. So he starts getting the love for getting over again. Because he's trying to get out of the game. He's trying to get into restaurateur. He's trying to be a restaurateur. He's trying to be somebody who makes restaurants and makes them high end and they make a lot of money. So he's trying to get out the game. But he can't because he gets this taste of the dirty game again. So at this point in the movie, where are you guys at? Where are you at this point in the movie?
At this point in the movie, I'm engaged. The plan to rip off the taxi service was it wasn't intricate. It wasn't a hard hitter, but I know I'm at the beginning of the movie, so you know, if I know movies, I know it. There's a build up, there's a climax, there's a letdown, and all that stuff. I'm engaged. I'm liking it at this point in time.
And where are you at, G-Roy?
I think it was about maybe 30, 35 minutes into the movie when that part of the movie, when they revealed that part about the heist with the jewelers and the cops in New York. I was invested. I feel like I wanted to see how far it was going to go. Just kind of filling the characters out still, trying to see what their, you mentioned all their talents and, you know, what all of them was good at. And I think this heist kind of pinpointed that. Each one of them were, what their talents was.
Yeah,
McManus, Hockney, and Verbal, everybody else.
So now McManus is the guy who's getting this information.
Yeah.
McManus is the guy who's getting this information for these jobs. And so now that he's bringing it across to the crew, they're like, all right, yeah, we can do this. And so you got pushback from Hockney. Hockney don't care about nobody, so he pretty much is only taking care of himself. So he's like pushing back every time. So when they hit this next job, which the next job is to hit a jeweler that got money, as well as the jewels, the person who giving them the job or telling them the job saying, hey, you know what? I just want the jewels. Y'all can take the money. So they were like, yeah. So they like, okay. So they do the job. Keaton, again, is the dude who was trying to get out, but now his taste for this is now getting him salivating again. And so now he's like, all right, let's do it. And the numbers make sense. I mean, we talking about not $5 or $50. We talking about in the millions. So he's like, man, we can get it going. He in his life that he's trying to change, he actually has a lawyer girlfriend by the name of Edie. And he's been working with her to do this restaurant deal. But for some reason, the restaurant deal is getting held up because of an arrest that he has while he's at dinner. His dinner is abruptly disrupted by the customs cop, which is Kuyan, played by Chaz Palminteri. Chaz Palminteri has a hard on. His hard on is to get this guy Keaton off the streets. He just definitely knows that this guy is at his worst. He wants to get him off the street so bad. So he comes in from LA to come to New York to get into to see what happens after this lineup. So this is where we talk about The Usual Suspects, where they pull 5 of these guys and put them all in a room together. Where you got Finster, you got Verbal Kint, you got Dean Keaton, you got Hockney, and then you got Keaton. So that's all 5. They're all sitting in the same lineup. And the whole idea is for them to get sweated out to tell who did this crime in New York, who stole this truck full of guns or whatever. And that's just the small end of it. But now the bigger story that comes across is that this coke deal is going down at a harbor in New York as well. So the whole story plays out to where Verbal Kint winds up coming up with a storyline or a plan to not only get this ship, but to not kill anybody. So we don't bring any undue awareness of ourselves to the cops or whatever. So at this point in the story, we understand that these all 5 players are in the movie and that they're all in this game they're in this play to make this big run to get out of the game for some point. Now McManus he's just a gunner. He's one of those guys who's just, you give him the plans and he's going to get it done. Finster is one of the guys who's going to smooth it out. Verbal Kint is one of the guys who's going to make the plan happen. And Hockney is going to basically bring the things to the table in order to get these things done. So now at this point in the movie, do you guys think of anything else? Do you think that anything is afoot? Do you think something else is going to happen? Or you just think it's a straight up, just they're going to run this scam?
As far as the heist that was going to occur on the situation that was going to occur on the pier, right?
Yep.
At this point, I'm curious to find out who Kaiser Sose is. By this time, they revealed that he was a person of interest. I want to know who he is. It's really just kind of bothered me at this point to see how important this guy is, or if he really exists. Because it was a few members in that group that didn't even really think that they thought he was a myth.
Yeah, he's a spook story.
Yeah, spook story.
That criminals tell their kids to, hey, if you don't do what you're supposed to do,
right.
Kaiser Sose is going to be there. Yeah.
I feel the same way, but along with that notion, I am at this point. I'm trying to figure out. I got an inkling that something is afoot. Something is not being told, and the writing is so good.
Yeah.
I'm engulfed in the acting. I am really, At this point, I think I only know Gabriel Byrne and Benicio del Toro. At this point, Kevin Spacey, I actually really started digging him in American Beauty. Stephen Baldwin, I always knew about him. Like Stephen Baldwin, Alec Baldwin. It's like 4 Baldwins. Yeah. Stephen Baldwin is actually like, you know, when they was little and all the brothers did something wrong and the mom and daddy caught him, Stephen Baldwin was the only one that got his ass whooped because parents knew that he wasn't gonna be nothing. He's like the doofus stepchild, but with his real parents. Right. This is the only movie that he did his job. He did. I gotta give him kudos. He's not making an Actors Hall of Fame, but he impressed me. He had a couple of B movies. I think he did a little porn. I think he got caught up in some drug shit. And Stephen Baldwin. I think he did. Okay. Actually, that I don't know if that's true or not. I just know that he was the throwaway child. It was all the other outside of Alec Baldwin. All the other Baldwins are sucking from Alec's nipples right now. They are only living off of him. But that's cool. Stephen turned out a masterful performance in this. He played his part. So I know it wasn't Stephen Baldwin in real life and in this movie. He just didn't show me that like I said, at this point, something is afoot. Like I know it's something I'm supposed to be trying to figure out. I just don't know what it is. That's the good writing. You know, I'm not saying that, oh man, fuck this movie because I couldn't figure it out. I'm not supposed to figure it out. It's supposed to be a good movie.
Exactly.
And Kevin Pollak. I didn't know him before this movie.
Yeah, you're right.
Gabriel Byrne, I did. Benicio Toro, I did. Kevin Spacey, I didn't know until American Beauty. This was after this. So something is afoot. I just can't figure it out.
So now we're getting to the point where the customs officer, who is Kuyan, which is Chaz
Palminteri.
And then you have also, who is working this from another end, is Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah.
You know, you got him working that from another end. So his end is, the ship has already been burned up. One person made it out alive.
Yes, he has a half-dead witness.
Yeah, and they're in the hospital with 60-something odd degree, 60% burns to their body. Mm-hmm. Shouldn't have made it. But at the end of the day, winds up making it.
That's B, y'all.
So he winds up making it. And while he's in the bed, while he's in the hospital bed, the name he blurts out is Kaiser Sose.
And everybody turns around. Everybody that is in the loop.
Yeah.
The authorities.
Yeah. They hear this name and they're like, tell us again.
You're right.
So they're all in on who this person is. So now Kaiser Sose, again, is supposed to be a myth. He's supposed to be someone who criminals tell their children about. And he's basically one of the main people who take out this Hungarian mob that are starting up. He's from Turkey. And he does this most unthinkable thing to where this Hungarian mob takes his family under siege. And he enters the home. And they say, well, we're going to kill your family. And just to show you that we real, they kill his son. And then once they kill his son, he thinks he got the gun out on all of them. So now he says, you know what? I don't want to see my family go up under this pressure. So he actually supposedly kills his family and kills the 2 Hungarian mob guys and lets one run away to tell the story.
After the Hungarian mob shoots his son first, and Kaiser Sose says, before I put my family living through this another day, he shoots his wife, and he shoots his daughter that one of the mob members is holding. And Yeah, he shoots 2 other guys, and then he lets one go so he can tell the story.
And at that point, you know, it's like, wow. So this guy's like super thug. You know what I'm saying? He basically can do anything. And so he's this great controller of men. And so this name comes out while Verbal Kint is telling the story to Kuyan. Now Kuyan is like, who? Then Giancarlo, who is Agent Bear, winds up telling him the story. He says, yeah, Kaiser Sose. So this name pops up. Kuyan runs back in the room to talk to Verbal Kint anymore, to talk to him some more. Verbal Kint is the dumbest, but the smartest guy. Because what he winds up doing is taking this agent on a whole long story of that may not even exist, but the agent is so enthralled into it that he must listen to him in order to kind of get to some type of end to this story.
Some type of closure.
Yeah.
There's no words we can use that can describe what went on from the moment Agent Kuyan started talking to Verbal Kint to the end of the movie. There's no words we can use. We can say, hey, took him on a ride. He was coerced.
Yeah.
Verbal Kint was trying to save his life. He was trying to... Oh, actually, he already had immunity
Yeah.
for all the charges. There's nothing we can say that can describe this interaction between these cats. Nothing we can say. Like, I'm speechless. You really have to see the movie. Okay, go ahead.
But it's all good. It's like, I mean, he's telling this story to pull you in even more. And also, the agent, he's pulling them in even more. So now, at this point, he's like, man, we're gonna crack this case. We're going to know who this person is. And so, at this point, Verbal Kint takes them down the road even more. To the point to where they think that Dean Keaton is the guy who is heading all of this. And that he really isn't alive. He's just acting like he's dead. But at the end of the day, they find out that Dean Keaton, or they try to make it seem that Dean Keaton is the mastermind of all of this. And that he is the only one who can basically be ahead of all of this. So as we get to this point of this big deal that's going down, which is basically on the docks in New York City, of a boat that's come in. There are people on this boat, and there's supposedly $91 million worth of dope on this boat. To where they find out that there's no dope on the boat whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, well, hey, why is there no dope? And so another, you've heard probably these clips on albums. You've probably heard them somewhere. But Dean Keaton is now talking to McManus. And he's telling them, I've been in every room, and I've been all through this boat, and there's no dope on this boat whatsoever. He can't figure it out. He's like, what? There's no dope on this boat. What do you mean? Where's the money coming from? Well, at this point in time, Dean Keaton has already instructed Verbal Kint, don't do anything. I need you to stay alive so that you can get word back to my girlfriend, Edie Federer, that you can get back to my girlfriend. Now, another person that's added into this mix that also throws it off a little bit more is an attorney named Kobayashi. Now, Kobayashi is a guy who's supposed to be working strictly for Kaiser Sose. And that he's given these, he's leveraging all of these felons based on they don't know what they've done.
These are career criminals.
Yes.
He comes and busts they ass out. Busts they ass about crimes that they have done in the past.
Yep.
No,
pulls their whole file.
These were Kaiser Sose schemes, but these are these usual suspects are, I would guess, independent contractors. Got their own LLC. They steal from these deals that they get word of mouth that's going down, and they steal from them. But they don't know that they stealing from Kaiser Sose. So when the time is right, Kaiser Sose pulls them all together. It's a miraculous plan. All these guys are together now. Yeah. And he leveraged them he got them all in the same room, and he was like, look, McManus, you did this shit. Kaiser Sose set that up. Dean Keaton, you did this shit. You stole from Kaiser Sose.
All right.
Everybody, he had something on everybody, but now it's time to pay the Pied Piper. Brilliant. Masterful. Kaiser fucking Sose. Okay, go. Okay, go. I'm just waiting till I finish. I got shit for y'all.
Hey, right. But it's all good because that's the culmination of this movie.
Woo!
Because you hear all of these different storylines. Finster as well. He gives them all their files. We know what you've done. You've all stolen from Kaiser Sose at some point. So now you're going to do us a favor, and you're going to do what we want you to do.
Say it again. He gives them all their what?
Their files.
Their files. A fucking hardcore gangster.
18 years old.
Has files.
History on all of them.
Has files. I mean, shit typed up, printed up in a manila folder. Like, nigga, are you a fucking gangster? Are you a motherfucking HR representative? Go ahead.
Exactly.
Are you HR?
And so he got everything. And so he tells them, hey, look, you do this or, you know, it's gonna be it for you.
Yeah.
And so they wind up going to this boat and they basically get everything set up. Dean Keaton does one thing that says, hey, you know what? Verbal, don't come. He said, but I'm supposed to cover you. He like, no, you stay here because I need you to go talk to Edie Finneran and let her know that, you know, I tried, but I couldn't do it.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go back about 30 seconds.
Yep.
At this time, when Kobayashi, Kaiser Sose's lawyer, comes in and bring these files, all of these guys have heard of Kaiser Sose, but when the lawyer comes in, it makes it real to them. They are shitless.
Yeah.
They are shit like these are hardcore criminals, especially Finster, especially McManus. They don't give a flying fuck about nothing. This is when they find out Kaiser Sose is real. Their faces are priceless. The acting is priceless.
And it's the same as Hockney. He definitely is like one of them guys, like, you got to show me.
Yeah, right. Exactly. This is when they find out Kaiser Sose is real and they done stepped in some shit. Yeah. And they got on fucking leather moccasins. All right, go.
And then the thing that stood out was only person that didn't know nothing about Kaiser Sose was Verbal Kent.
That's okay. Yeah.
They had to explain to him who he was.
Yeah.
He had no recollection of who he was, and that spoke to me for a minute.
Yeah, that actually we already know Troy's smarter than me. They slid that shit in there. I didn't even think twice about the foreshadowing there. I didn't even see that Verbal Kent didn't know nothing about him, but he's like a mastermind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I didn't see that. I ain't see that.
But that was the whole thing of him being a small con guy. Mm-hmm. Like they always told you, he's a small con guy.
Yeah.
And then again, adding on the cripple idea, he's weak. Mm-hmm. And that's where Chaz Palminteri or Kuyan goes in on, hey, we trying to put this on Kent. We trying to put this on Keaton. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, it's no way that you could have been the mastermind of any of this. Yeah. Because you're weak. You're feeble. Yeah. You know, you can barely walk. This, that, and the other. Which played into his hand.
Yep. So they on the boat.
Yeah, so now as the boat goes, up in flames, they've been through the boat, McManus and Keaton have been through the boat. Keaton has told McManus that, hey, I didn't find no dope on the boat whatsoever. During this time, Hockney, who is Kevin Pollak, goes to a van and looks and sees, wow, this is where the money is. Mysteriously, somebody shoots him right in the gut from the back.
Yeah.
So he's done. He's gone out this movie right at that point. So somebody kills him. So he's like, wow. Now the rest of the movie is playing out. Now, the whole story is being told by Verbal Kint. He sees that it's a slender man in a dark coat with a hat on. Now, remember, in the first part of the story, when Kaiser Sose killed his family, the storyline, well, what they show you is that it's a guy that goes into a room, he's got long hair, and he's this type of guy with a gun. He ain't talking about no coat, no slender guy with a hat on.
Yeah.
But the idea is that it's Kaiser Sose, that this name keeps ringing bells. It keeps ringing out. So as they keep going through this part of the movie, Verbal Kint is sitting back. He sees shots ringing out. He's seeing people get killed. He gets scared, supposedly, and runs behind this bundle of rope, different things that you will find at a dock. He's basically behind it, and he's supposedly scared. But at this point in time, he now finds Kevin Pollak dead.
Yeah.
And sees the truck and looks into the boxes and sees that the money is in there. So now that he sees that the money is in there, he's like, wow, hold on. So now Keaton is coming through, Keaton is moving through the ship as well. He's getting out. Same thing as McManus. Now, at this point, you try to figure out, wow, who killed Pollak? Somebody just walked behind him and killed him. Who was free enough? But it's funny that the camera angle goes right back to Verbal Kint, showing that he's sitting somewhere else, and that he possibly is not the person who done it.
That part stuck with me.
But then who's here? Yeah, how did it stick with you? But here's how.
Because I'm like, how does nigga get from square one to square 5 in 3.2 seconds? But it's all based on
how the story
the fact that he was telling the whole story in the first place. So he could, he narrated it how the hell he wanted to. So.
Okay. But you see, but that was the whole thing. I have you.
Telling the story.
Verbal is at this point, he has everybody under control.
Yep.
Basically, you're either a character or you're the person who's listening to the story. He got you under control.
Right.
Because he's telling what's happening to these people. And so he, for some reason, he reluctantly wants to tell Kuyan that he saw Keaton being killed.
Right.
But then at the end of the story, he winds up telling them that, Keaton was killed. I saw him shoot him. And it's funny how he turned the gun sideways and shot him twice or 3 times. But again, as this story moves on, we're getting to the end. Now it's funny. This movie is only an hour and some change. But it's getting close to where how well the story is told. In an hour, that you're going to get all of this stuff in one story.
Yeah.
So there's one person who's in a hospital, who is a Hungarian who just made it off of the boat after it was burned up, and then you also have another person who they never really, and I'm sorry, not that they did, but I can't remember at this point of how this Argentinian person said Kaiser Sose because he had got away as well. And said his name as well.
Yeah.
And so now these names ring true. So now here's Kaiser Sose. So now they're like, wow, it's Kaiser Sose. Who is this guy? So now they're trying to figure out depending on him, but they still don't know who this guy is. Nobody's ever seen him, really. Nobody can really say who he is. So now that these people are done, Kevin Pollak is done, Dean Keaton has made it to the point where the boat is getting ready to blow up and burn. He's gotten shot. And I can't remember what happened to McManus. I think McManus.
Yeah, he
McManus,
came-
He walked out of the room with a knife. He walked out of a room with a knife in his neck.
Yeah. So
yeah.
somebody knifed in
He
the
was
back of his
surprised.
head,
And
about what
he
he
said, the strangest thing.
Yeah.
and then he
Yeah,
died.
yeah, and then he fell and died.
Yeah.
McManus had somewhat of the same. I'm sorry, not McManus. Hockney, when he turned around before he got shot, he had some of the same type look on his face. He didn't say anything. No, he did say something.
It was more of a surprise of like somebody
get the
just
fuck
shot
out
my
of here.
ass.
Yeah,
Who did
and it was like
did it?
you gotta be fucking kidding me type look.
Yeah.
So
So it's more or less to say they knew who the person was.
Yeah.
once they
Right,
before they was about to die,
right.
yeah.
So and it's the same thing with Keaton when he's sitting on
Yep.
the barrels before he burns up.
Yeah, because he got shot in the back.
Exactly. He got shot in the back, and then the person once he was laying down on the dock with his hands back to the some barrels or whatever,
and lit a cigarette.
and then the person shot him.
Yeah.
Who is supposedly Kaiser Soze.
Yeah.
So now at this point, the culmination of this movie is happening so quick to the point where now Bear has been in the hospitals. Agent Bear, Giancarlo Esposito, has been in the hospital and spoke to this Hungarian, the last person to get off of the boat. The last person to get off the boat is burned up 60-something degrees, and 60% of his body is burned up. He's speaking in Hungarian. So they get somebody who can speak Hungarian. But at the end of what he says Kaiser Soze. So everybody's like, wow, Kaiser Soze. Now this name is ringing bells now. Now we're getting down to the nitty gritty of this story.
Yeah, come on.
There's no so now as it's burned up, there's no coke on this boat. Like what the hell? Dean Keaton said I've been in every room and there is no coke. So there was no coke deal. So what really was happening? So Kaiser Soze could possibly be fingered by one person. Now this one person happens to be on this boat. So, as he's on this boat, he goes to the room. You'll see the camera moving in what they call player one.
Yeah.
They're moving in player one.
Or like first person.
Yeah, the first person in first person mode. The guy comes in the room, opens the door, and he's like, "I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell anyone." So now this is the only guy who can finger Kaiser Soze. He winds up getting killed.
Shot his ass too.
Yep. Pop, pop. As a matter of fact, against the glass of the boat, he gets killed while the boat is burning.
Right.
So now at this point, it's like, wow, there's nobody else who can say anything. So we're coming to the end of this story. At the end of this, at the end of the boat burning up, who is Kaiser Soze? All these people have been killed. There's no dope. There's a bunch of money sitting there, but nobody knows any of this of who's done anything. Well, the person on the boat happens to be the only person who can finger Kaiser Soze. So the leverage, some more leverage comes in where they bring in Keaton's girlfriend, who he's left because he's on his roll now. I'm on my life for crime, and I don't want you part of it. He's gone. But they bring her in, Edie Finneran, to work on the extradition of this one person who can finger Kaiser Soze that wound up getting killed on the boat. So now at this point,
which makes you more think it's Keaton.
right, it keeps pushing toward Keaton. Kuyan keeps pushing and pushing and pushing Verbal Kint. And Kuyan winds up giving Verbal Kint the way out. We know it's not you. We know that you're weak. We know that you're a cripple. You can't do this. You could never be part of this. Tell us what's going on. At this point, Verbal Kid is trying to think, and he's actually coming around. And it is Keaton. It is Keaton.
Yeah, he gave him a way out.
It has to be him. Playing into the story. So, as this is happening, they have a sketch artist working with the last person in the hospital. The sketch is being completed, and it is now being faxed. While this is being faxed, the time has gone by. Verbal Kid's immunity has now kicked in. He's also the time they can no longer hold him. He's been there for 3 hours or so. They can no longer hold him, and they let him know, hey, yeah, you're gone, you're done. And so Kuyan already is putting it in his mind that this is Keaton. Keaton's not dead. He did all this on his own. So as Verbal Kid is being released and walking out of the building, the fax is coming through of the picture. Who did y'all think the picture was?
I thought the picture was gonna be Agent Kuyan, actually.
Right.
First time I saw it, I thought it was gonna be Agent Kuyan because it was so complex and it was so this, that, here, and the other way. It had to be somebody like, not that you didn't think it was, but somebody that it ain't supposed to be.
Exactly.
That's why I was saying, hey, Agent Kuyan, that's what I thought it was.
Yep. So now at this point, the fax comes through. Agent Bear picks it up. He's walking by with a cup of coffee. The fax winds up coming through. The picture comes through. Verbal Kid is already out of the building. He is walking down the street. He's telling the story. Kuyan starts to look at the wall that is behind him, and now understand that he is not interviewing him in a traditional interrogation room. He's interviewing him in the chief's office. On the chief's wall, there are a lot of wanted posters. There are a whole bunch of different things of where that the court board was produced, different names and different things on this board. This whole story that Verbal Kid told was based off of all of these things that are on that court board. All the way down to who manufactured the court board. All the way down to who manufactured the coffee cup.
Yeah.
Kobayashi.
Boy.
Everything.
He has manufactured all of this stuff into a story to kill time.
Yeah.
So that he can be released, keep his immunity, and keep the money.
Man. And I think the greatest of all, to further the superiority and mysteriousness and ruthlessness of Kaiser Soze.
Yeah, exactly.
So what you give it?
Oh man. So this is again, we're gonna after this we're gonna switch up our format, but this was definitely one of my favorites. This movie was brought to my attention by one of my brothers, Mo Ramsey, the chef, Moses the Lyrical Spiritual. We wound up watching this over one of my friends' house, and that's how I fucking wound up liking the movie. It's a classic to me.
Yeah.
He brought this to my attention. I never knew about this movie until he brought it to my attention. So I want to definitely give this movie, based on our red cup system, I'll give this 2 full cups. Based on the fact of the matter is the story kept you guessing all the way up to the end of the story. all the way up to the end of the movie, prior to the credits. So I'll give this multiple cups. I'll give it 2 cups. Let's say that. I'll give it 2 cups. Okay. This was a good movie. It was well written. A lot of these actors around this time, which this movie was made in '95, around this time, a lot of those actors were starting to come into their own.
Yeah.
And we're getting different movies. And so this was a jump off, or part of that jump off. So I definitely give it multiple cups.
2 cups. All right. Yeah. Watch your boy. Here come your boy Critique. Look, I'm going to make mine short and sweet. Yeah. Hey, man. Hey, I was about to say go see this movie like the shit just came out yesterday. But see this movie, man. I don't give what streaming service actually. It's on AMC right now. You can do your free trial. You done seen this with the reading. If you don't like what you see on AMC, watch this movie. Cancel your free trial. You got 6 more days. But this movie was not only suspenseful, thrilling, good, exquisite, all parts that goes into making a movie. The cinema, photography, the writing, the acting. We didn't know at the time, but this was an all-star cast in the making. This was like the 1986 Pistons when they got all their pieces and they was only like maybe 4 or 5 games over 500 in 87, 88 season. Then next thing you know, the next season they came and went back to back. These guys, we didn't know it at the time, all-star cast. I just want to make a few points. It was comedy in this movie. My favorite part was when Mugu talked about it when they got them all in the lineup. Yeah. It was a tactic by Agent Kuyan. It was the usual suspects. The usual suspects. And Keaton said, they don't pull people like us together in the same lineup for no reason. This is a tactic. And they don't. They usually get the main suspect and they get like 4 niggas off the street. You know, one smoking weed, one just got done with a porno, one was washing windows, and the other one sell weed on the corner. Yeah. But these was all like big time people like
gun stuff.
Like big guys, like these are big fish. All of them in the lineup at the same time. One of the funniest lines to me was when they got to Benicio del Toro and they all had a line to read. It was like, "Give me the keys, you cocksucker." Benicio del Toro played his part so good. He was a criminal that used his Latin accent in character, but when he was reading the line, he looked at it and he started to laugh. And all the rest of the usual suspects started laughing. Then when he read it, he was like, "Give me the keys, you cocksucker." But the people behind the glass didn't understand it, so they said in English. The funny part was he really read it in English the first time. Yeah. So he was like, "What are you talking about?" So he read it again. He was like, "Give me the keys, you cocksucker." What the fuck? You gotta see this shit. Just simple lines like that and how he did it was a great actor in the making. My second, I already talked about this. Stephen Baldwin turned in the performance of his lifetime. He's been in like 27 movies. It's only worth seeing him in this one. Like I said, he's the doofus stepchild. He's the one that sits in the room with all the rest of his brothers. He the only one that not smoking. Mom and dad see everybody else smoking, but Stephen Baldwin gets his ass whooped just because the parents know he ain't gonna never be shit. I'm sorry. I'm just telling it like it is. Stephen Baldwin is the one that probably was the good kid, but got his ass whooped every day for shit that he didn't do because Alec was gonna make all the money. And the other brothers, they maybe had 1 or 2 good movies. They had some B movies that didn't go nowhere, but Stephen Baldwin, they already know. Yeah. No, you're full of shit. But he turned in a fucking supporting actor worthy nomination. Not saying that he was supposed to win, but he turned in a great performance. Benicio del Toro. he wasn't known at this time either. Young Benicio del Toro turned in a great performance. He played this part so well. I actually thought that he was actually the character that he was playing. I actually thought that he was a smooth-talking Latino character. He had a lot of great lines. He had a lot of non-verbal movements that I read, that I drew from. Kevin Spacey. What can you say about him?
This was his breakout. I don't know any other movie that you could say was his breakout role.
No, not his breakout. No. This had to be his breakout. But after this, American Beauty. Actually, he did one bad movie after this. It was called K-Pax. Y'all seen that?
No.
I heard of it, but no.
Yeah, you shouldn't
heard
see
of
it.
it, never seen it.
Yeah, you shouldn't see it. I believe it was after American Beauty. He was a good actor. It was a horrible script. I guarantee you they paid him way too much money to do this script. It was like aliens. It was like he was an alien. He didn't know it. He tried to go home. It was like a human E.T. film.
Oh, God.
You know, like, oh shit, I'm an alien. I'm about to go home. They had to pay him $372 million and pay every other actor in there $20.
Wow.
Yeah, they had to for him to take this role. Yeah, and afford. Yeah, and Kevin Spacey, his role, the arrogance, the wherewithal, and the gall to say his character to make up a brilliant, masterful story to waste time on the fly, just reading a bulletin board. It was this was a movie. It's supposed to be good. Kevin Spacey made you believe that this was ad-lib.
Yeah.
He made me believe that this was ad-lib. Like, you can't write this shit. His nonverbals, and his name was Verbal Kent. Yeah. His nonverbals, his facial expressions, and his performance made me believe that it was some Eddie Murphy ad-lib and shit. Like, come on, this shit couldn't have been written because he did it so good. That's all I gotta say. I will give this movie. First of all, I was gonna pick this movie before Mugu. Really, honestly, the cameras was off. I was gonna pick it. He said the camera was off, and Mugu 2 weeks ago, Mugu said, I already know my movie. I'm hyped. You know what I'm saying? He started rubbing on his nipples. Shit. He squoze his nipple and shit. This motherfucking this vein right here got all thick and shit. I was like, okay, goddamn, if you gonna be all that, what is the movie? He said, The Usual Suspect. I was like, you son of a bitch. I was gonna choose that. So I let him have it. I let him have it because I know a whole lot of movies. I chose American Me. So number one, I was gonna choose this movie. Number two, Troy ain't seen this movie until this day. Well, until when we were supposed to watch it.
Lies. All
he is
lies.
an avid movie connoisseur. He gets 30 lashes like they used to do in Singapore, number one.
Exactly.
I mean, I was surprised at that. I was surprised at that. But I would have to, I'm going to give this movie straight up no chaser. I got to give it a 5th of Milagro Tequila.
Wow.
Milagro Tequila. I have to. Only because, listen here. Hey, listen here. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to give you some honest shit, and if it's something that you need to know that's fucked up about this movie, I'm going to tell you. Even if it's only one thing out of 10, I'm going to tell you. I can't find, these were fucking nobodies at the time. Brilliant shit. Mugu did some research. It took $6 million to make this movie, and it made 67. I'm mad at that. This movie can come out tomorrow and be up for Oscar. Up for Oscar. So I get it's a 5th of Milagro. I don't drink too much tequila, but when I do, it's some good shit. So I get it's a 5th of Milagro.
Wow. A fifth.
T-Ray, what you get?
I give this movie I give it a full. Based on the intrigue that I had, I was looking very much toward the finding out who Kaiser Sose was and how he finessed the U.S. Customs agent.
Finessed
He
him
worked.
like I was 24 finessing a little 19-year-old right out of high school. That was old now. Go ahead, Troy. Like he finessed him, like he caressed his sides, like he whispered in his ear.
He did.
Boy,
Just figuring out how he played, how he was looking on the bulletin board, how they discovered how he was got all this information off the bulletin board. I give this movie I give it a fifth.
Wow. Of what? Or just
a fifth of whatever you like.
yeah.
Whatever you
Yeah.
This had a good ending. They didn't spend a lot of money on this movie, and they didn't really need to spend a lot on this movie to make it great. They invested into trying to tell a good story and giving you a real good surprise ending. And I'm always a sucker for surprise endings and twists.
That's what makes it even. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think they found the right actors for each particular spot, and that is why they didn't have to blow the budget to make this movie pop.
Yeah,
And how would you know that?
And how would they know that? Huh?
What is real profit? If they spent 10 on this movie, it made 67.
It made 67, but they only spent 6. That's what even makes it even better. And you risked that $6 million on some unknown actors.
I mean,
that is
really?
spotting talent. What is it called in the movie? Who chooses the actors?
The casting,
casting director,
casting directors, producers.
Let's look.
Look
up who the casting director is. Shout out to whoever that is. Look it up.
You got Bryan Singer as the director.
Yes, that's another thing I forgot.
Bryan
Thanks for
Singer.
mentioning that.
Bryan Singer, I think he did the first X-Men movie.
Yeah, he's known for big, and he did Bad Boys movie.
Yeah.
He's known for like big blockbuster action, all out, blow up shit, big explosions. He's known for that now. Okay, now this was 95.
Kevin Spacey also won an Oscar for this portrayal of Kaiser Sose in
Verbal King.
He did?
Yeah.
He won an
Stop
Oscar.
lying.
Written by Christopher McQuarrie.
Yeah, he won an Oscar too.
Kevin,
Kevin
are you
Spacey
sure?
won an Oscar.
Look that up, Mugu.
All right, we about to find
And
out.
also,
Are you? Oh, Troy, not gonna lie. I just want to confirm it, just because. I ain't gonna tell y'all the reason because I'm salty right now. It was some shit that happened when the motherfucking camera was off. Athena said
behind
this
the
nigga
scenes.
should not go about what he's doing. Mrs. Cheatham said this nigga should not go about what he's doing. Mugu is his cousin. This nigga, he chose family over motherfucking what's right. So, I'm not gonna tell y'all what it is, but I just want to fucking fact checking. Fact checking.
And they didn't list the casting director.
No, I'm trying to see did Kevin Spacey win an Oscar for this.
Yeah.
Movie. Yeah, nigga, you already said that. Nigga, we trying to. Did Kevin Spacey win an Oscar for Usual Suspects? Oh, damn. Yeah, he won Best Supporting Actor.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he did.
It's right there.
And Best Original Best Original Screenplay won Christopher McQuarrie, you said?
Yeah.
All right.
And the Kaiser Sose character is loosely based on a killer named John List from Bay City, Michigan.
Quit lying.
Yes. Why the fuck most
So
fucking
now
people be coming from here?
Nigga, this bitch, remember when Chris Tucker in Rush Hour 2,
Yeah.
when he cleared out the motherfucking club, he like, yeah, nigga, remember me? This Mike from Michigan. I don't know what. Unabomber from here. No, not the Unabomber.
No, he from Oklahoma.
No, the one that bombed the Oklahoma. He from Michigan. Oh, I didn't. Ain't he called the Unabomber?
Yeah.
Was he the one called it? Okay, yeah, he from Michigan
Wow.
too. Yeah.
So we got murderers,
Yeah.
filmmakers.
Our white boys is crazy, but they don't come into Detroit with all that bullshit. I'm telling you. They don't come. I'm telling you, they don't come to Detroit with all that bullshit.
Yeah.
Any white boy you see in Detroit, he grew up with them niggas that he rolling with. I can tell you right now. Yeah, but
this is one of those ones, man. It's been a classic since I've known about it, and every time I brought it up in conversation with most people, other people, they've liked it just as much.
yeah, Mooga pulled one out his ass. Look, listen here. This is called Booze and Reviews. It's not a secret that we done had a couple drinks. We full, man. Mrs. Cheatham always set it out for us. Mrs. Blakely always set it out for us. We ain't been to my house because my wife is. We talked about that off camera too. But we going to my house soon. We gonna see what happened.
Yeah.
But listen here. It's no secret that we're a little tipsy, but when we choose these movies, like especially when we give them multiple cups and fifths and shit, we can try to use the best words we can, but it's me personally myself, when I'm this excited, you gotta watch this movie I hope you hate me before you watch this movie. You should watch it just so you can come back and rebut what I said. Like, tell me I was wrong. Like, I don't care if you are a rom-com fan, a romantic, just a drama fan.
Yeah, suspense.
Suspense. Like, this might not be your thing, but when a good movie hits, the consensus is 90 to 95% right. You know, and y'all just seen Mugu and his explanation of it. Y'all know Troy. Tell us that we wrong. I dare you to tell me that this wasn't even my pick. It was about to be Mugu.
Definitely go into the comments. Definitely comment. Subscribe, and like. I mean, it's no other. It's no other way. When you go into this is definitely going to spark a conversation.
Yeah.
With you and your people, and y'all definitely going to have a view of the movie. Put it in the comments, and that way we can start that conversation, man. So. Definitely do that. If you like this, definitely after that, definitely you're going to like it after that.
I want somebody to come and tell me I'm wrong.
Subscribe.
Tell me I'm wrong on this one, especially this one. Tell me I'm wrong. I dare you. If you make a good case, I got $10 on your Cash App right now. No. Actually, it all depends on your taste. I'll buy you lunch. You know what I'm saying? Don't, listen here, if you eating at McDonald's and Burger King every day, don't try to go to Shea Moore Reese's just because I'm paying for it. Listen here. Don't try to go there. If you eating at McDonald's or Burger King every day, listen here, I give you $30, $40, you know what I'm saying? At the most $50, you know.
Oh boy, you balling out. Boy,
I ain't balling out. That's how much I feel about my channel. This was a good pick. I was supposed to pick it. You ain't shit. But anyway, I was supposed to pick it. But I still stand by my man's pick. I still stand by my word. I'm telling you this. I would
go see it and let us know. That's what you do. You go see it and let us know about it.
Ain't nobody said no words here that I can say gives justice to this movie. We just tried to explain it to you the best
Pretty
as
much. Yeah.
Somebody from on Voorhees Road, somebody off of Gunson, and somebody from Mac and Seminole. We just tried. Okay, you put all that together, you got a 7th grade education.
Oh God.
Okay, we just try to give it to you the best we can.
Detroit Central Trailblazers.
No,
I'll at you.
I'm telling, man, listen here. If this shit ain't in your top 15, watch it. I bet you it'll be then.
Yeah, even with some of the newer stuff coming out, it's better than that. It's better than some stuff.
We're going to put your cups up, man. Another episode of
Yes, sir.
Booze and Reviews. This has been a review of The Usual Suspects.
Yes, sir.
Watch your mouth.
Booze and Reviews. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, baby.